Doing a quick demonstration here how to set up a custom user interface in ZBrush. So we have ZBrush 2025 1.3, and I have my resources document I use for most of my classes. So I have a full resources document here that would have 2D art tools, 3D modeling, game engines, digital sculpting, printing, and virtual reality. And we have the Photoshop brushes, shortcuts, and notes. And if you scroll down here, Maya, digital sculpting, there's the core Maya notes. So you can open that one. So the accounts down a little ways, you'll see Sculpture, Sculpture, and now ZBrush. So ZBrush has shortcut keys for Maxon, custom user interface and hotkeys, and a folder I'm going to add. Here's some extra tools. I also had a separate link there that just goes straight to the notes section to do enabling custom interface, which once you turn it on, you can then use Control and Alt together to click on icons to drag them around, and then the hotkey binding for doing hotkeys to make up your own shortcut keys. You enable the custom UI, and then you could Control Alt to make the hotkey. So hotkey binding or enable UI, and then moving the palettes around is the shift click. So the rest of these will go through a little bit at a time. This is pretty short. I'm just updating it. It was old from like 2018. But the first thing you want to get is the custom UI file. So you need custom hotkeys, custom user interface. So drive, no, thank you, Google, for advertisement. Okay, so we're going to download that one, and we're going to download that one. Uh, let's see. That was strange. Did it do anything? Guess we'll find out in a moment. Okay, going to download the custom user interface file. So we'll go in here and we'll download that one. Scanning for viruses. It's not going to tell me it can't download it, is it? There it goes. Oh, that was strange a minute ago. All right, so we get that one. And then one more. Download. And Hotkeys 2025. There we are. All right. So once you have that taken care of, going to go into Preferences, going to go into the Configuration, pull down and load UI. Go to my Downloads folder, load the Custom User Interface 2025. And voila, now you have Custom UI. You should have my Plat's main sculpt menu right there, little edit folder right there, and all of these to the side. And the next thing you want to do after getting the custom UI config is you want to store the custom UI. So that means that's going to be the startup on each new startup ZBrush. So if you don't remember to store config when you restart ZBrush, it's going to go back to its default. If at any time you need to go back to the default, you just go restore custom UI or restore standard UI. Either one of those are fine. Okay, next we go to hotkeys, load hotkeys. And there's our hotkeys 2025. It's just a little text document. It's got some data on there, and we load that in. And so now if I go over here and I put a cylinder into the scene and make it editable, you can see now I have my Plat's main sculpt tools here. And you see if I hover over the top of the clay buildup is B. So if I come in here, you can see the little mannequin head and hit the X key, bracket key up. Well, yeah, got to make Polymesh 3D. Some of the goofiest interfaces ever in the history of user interface design. Please fix it, Maxon. Here we go, and we'll subdivide that so we can bring up, we can push back, we can use Shift to smooth out. And so Control B is going to be the clay buildup. If I go Shift D down the subdivision and D back up the subdivision, down the subdivision, I want to move topological. That's like having transform with the soft fall off. So that's Control V. That's from the hotkeys. I can make it nice and big. And then go to the side here. And remember, every time you're rotating in the center, using the blank canvas here, you can hold Shift and it'll snap. And now we can grab and move and make it nice and big. Here we go. That, and then to the side. All right, so we instantly now have a little devil guy, whatever. Right? You can then go to the regular clay tool, which is Control C. So really use copy and paste in ZBrush much, so it works for me. Space bar, you can go here to your draw size a little faster than using the bracket sometimes. And I'm just using my mouse right now, so I'm not going to get anything too spectacular. Standard brush here should be Control T for standard, so Control T as it gets your regular, what you would call the draw brush. Alt to push away, Shift to smooth out. You guys know the chant. Trim dynamic and H polish. These are really useful. So Control Shift H, since Control H has already been taken. So if we go Control Shift H, look at your polish, and this is going to polish it. Do you really want to chisel? This is like your flattened edge brush. You want to chisel around your edges. It does a beautiful job on sharp edges too, and then Shift to smooth out if you need to. We go up to subdivision a little bit there, and pick an empty space. Come over here, zoom in, and now you can see I get a really nice chiseled area. So remember, you want those flat, so you want those flat surfaces, and the H polish goes from one edge and then to the other side, and those two polishes together make a nice crisp edge. If you go to trim dynamic, that lets you kind of go over this over the side of an edge and smooth it out, right? So it's going to be a little more liney. It's not going to be so complete as H polish, which is really more of a flattened, complete to the brush stroke. So H polish, Control Shift H, trim dynamic, Control Y, and then snake hook, Control K, which is like the grab brush. So going to go to Sculptris Pro. Yes, okay. We have Sculptris Pro in the house. Sculptris Pro is hidden in the most strange of spots. I still have to double check where it is in the user interface. It wasn't transformed. Is it under stroke? Yes, Sculptris Pro is a type of stroke, I guess. Pixelogic people. So right now we have it on. There we go. And you have adaptive skin, so you can see if I go in here with my snake hook, I can grab and I can pull pixels, and you'll see that it did not work. So go back to stroke and turn it back on again. Let's see if it's going to crash. There we go, back in here. My headphones just died. I had to pause and come back. So I don't see anything happening. The Sculptris Pro, I'm turning it on, and it says it's on right there, and I go to grab, and yeah, it turns back off again. Mesh is composed of multiple. Oh, I have to be on. Okay, yeah, it's got the nuances, of course, of subdivision levels. So it has to be on the lowest. You can't have any subdivision levels above it or any subdivision levels at all. Yeah, so they kind of they do that. Click on it again. Try. Pull. It says no. The mesh is composed of multiple. So you have to kill. You have to freeze and get rid of your lower subds. So don't do Sculptris until you're ready to kill the subdivisions, which here in geometry have delete lower, delete higher. Right now I'm at subdivision level 6. So let me just go down subdivision level, Shift D a few times, and we'll delete higher and we'll delete lower. And now I could go to snake hook. Geez, sorry. Control K for the hook. And let's see if this is going to actually work now. Turn that on. There it goes. Yay. So it's I would call it a bad version of Sculptris. Like I was not happy when Pixelogic purchased Sculptris. They kind of ruined it. It was a beautiful program, but I'll get over it. We'll figure out how to use it right, so you can pull these pixels out, and they're just super extra jaggedy. And there's different subdivision sizes in here, so I think I can just dial this up or down. There's a much higher subdivision size, and I go up, and they'll be much bigger. Let's see if this actually works at all. Let me go down a little smaller. There we go. So Shift D. So yeah, it does. It works. I'm just complaining probably because I haven't figured out how to use it properly yet. So I just like Sculptris a lot. So yeah, that's the main brush. The dam standard, I'm sorry, is the last ones is really important. That's your Control M for dam, and that is your ridge. So if I go Control D, subdivide one time, and I want to slash in a line, remember, and then Alt to pull up. So it's really like your crease tool, crease brush, right? So I can go in here and pull up. There we go. and then pull up the ridge and then push down against it. Control D, whoops, there we go. Mhm. Da-da, there you go. Then back to your regular clay builder, Control B, right? Shift to smooth. Spacebar to get to your hotkey for your bigger and smaller, and then smooth is always going to be shift for blur. Clay tubes, I don't have a shortcut on. Z modeler, those are really powerful, so have that in there. The other ones you have in here are smart resims. You want to do some resymmetry, activating symmetry, doing radial symmetry. I have in here backface culling, so making sure you're not accidentally getting polygons from behind on a thin surface like this. So I have backface turned on. You can also use topological. So if I'm sculpting here, you'll see it's pretty safe. I'm not going to accidentally go around the back. See if I turn that off and try it, you see it's grabbing faces from the back. Lazy steps, lazy mouse view mask, mask by cavity is useful. So if I want to do a mask on this by cavity, I click on that and you see it makes a mask. I can invert the mask, control tap to blur it, control tap on empty space to reverse it. So this gives you the ability to kind of mask out cavity areas, control tap again to make it even more blurred. And now I could go in with the clay buildup and I could kind of have the masked areas protected from the brush stroke. And you see I blurred it maybe a little more than I should have. So yeah, shift to smooth, 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 smooth. Shift, I always lower the intensity, turn off RGB down to like 20 to 30% because 100% smoothing just destroys your detail. Control, click, drag to clear your mask. The other ones I have up here, here's your store configuration. Oh, I think I did not do. Just to double check, I want to store the hotkey file. Awesome. I want to make sure, again, store configuration file. You can save it as well, so you want to save that in a spot where you know it's going to be. So for this one, for instance, I'm going to store this on my desktop. So there's one. Okay, it's been saved successfully, and then I'm going to save also my hotkey to my desktop. And I'm suggesting you store it somewhere like good, like where you know where it is. I'm just putting them there. You can import and export them. Save UI, so if you want to enable customization, store config, I have the shortcuts to these pull downs in here. I have loaded it into the UI for us. Delete, undo history. You see this little meter here has all of the functions you've done. Like it has a history record function similar to what you do in Procreate. After a while, it's going to make your file huge and you have to clean it every once in a while. So delete, undo history is right there. You can initialize ZBrush, that'll completely wipe all the custom UI and bring it back to default. You can insert mesh, group visible, delete hidden, do auto groups, close holes, mirror and weld. So if one side gets messed up, you can mirror it and weld it together and close off any holes. So this is the custom UI I have so far. Um, let's go ahead and get started on making some sculptures.